back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdaynoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo at TSIO Pod, or buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. And we have a special second Saturday in October edition because, as we know, we are now a recap podcast recapping the second Saturday in October, but we have a special guest with us, Jared. We have Chris Murphy guesting with us today because it is coming up on the third Saturday in October. So, Chris, how are you?
I'm great, man. This is always my favorite time of year to be watching football every day. I told my wife, I was like, if I didn't have a life, it would just be Thursday night through Monday night. All I would do is sit in front of that dang TV. But I guess I have to do other things as well. But I will settle myself in, especially for this week, because
Exactly. Jared, welcome in as well, as always. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm still in mourning, but I am proud that Chris is fresh off that Missouri win, so I'll give him the flowers. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure neither one of you have any fingernails left after them
yeah, they're
after
gone.
biting them through
Well,
those
well,
games.
and to tribute Chris, you don't have many fingernails when you're clapping like this, so um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I missed that. And what's funny is, and it's not that funny for Auburn fans. I, so I wasn't sure what was happening because I think that happened when I was putting kids to bed and missed it. But um, it, everybody was talking about him calling timeout, running down the sideline, and I watched the video and I was like, he was calling timeout. So what's the big deal about giving him a time? Oh, he was trying to say I wasn't calling timeout. I was clapping. Yeah, that I don't I don't
Yeah.
I don't think I found out that Zoom now does reactions based on hand gestures, and I don't think it has one for fingertips to palm in the shape of a T. I don't
Not
think it has.
yet.
Well,
Not yet.
there's memes now apparently, so yeah,
Yeah, I clap like this.
for whatever
Um,
that's worth. Yeah.
it, so as an Auburn fan, it this is multiple games. Has there been a game this year that has not had a, I'm not sure if pivotal is the right word, but I know two games have had pivotal bad calls. But it does feel like every game has had bad calls for against Auburn.
Yeah. But at the same time, your team can't implode and Auburn in the last three games has imploded. And now the fan base is pretty irate, to put it nicely.
Mhm.
They're not very pleased, and there's some that are screaming for Hugh Freeze to go
I was
elsewhere. And
wondering,
then
yeah.
there's um, bad news yesterday. One of our team captains requested a red shirt, was denied, which is not something a team captain should do, but he's a senior and he hasn't gotten much play time. And he's only played in four games. He requested a red shirt. It's Damari Alston, our running back, and
Mm.
he they denied him and he quit. He quit the team.
Dang.
What?
And yeah, that was yesterday.
That
So
that that is
we lost a team captain who's really just trying to protect the season because he hasn't played much. He wants to
Yeah.
protect as much playing time as he can and hit the
Wow.
transfer portal. So it's a rough situation because that's, what do you do as a coach? I mean, you can't let the kids hold you up, but at the same time, this kid's only got 1 year left, and I don't know. That's a tough one. So,
that
but Auburn will survive this because the rest of the season gets a little bit more manageable, and if you were to continue and do well, you could end up, having an 8-4 season, which for Auburn would be really good.
Yeah.
So, it's not the end of the world, but it's just, man, it's you guys on some level have been there. Alabama, it's been longer than others, but Tennessee certainly understands. I mean, right now we're just in a funk. It feels like we're snake
Mm.
bit, and it's like, how do we get out of this? It's brutal.
it
But
is some dark days being there too because
yeah, it's
it's like
tough.
what coach can we go get? Because
Yeah,
Penn State has fired James Franklin, but James Franklin teams have also in big games struggled with penalties. And
yeah.
so it's like, is that going to get us any better if we did part ways with Hugh Freeze and go and get James Franklin? Um, it, it's it's hard to walk through all that. And how do you hold a locker room after your team captain has requested a red shirt, been denied, and now quits the team?
Well, and
Um,
a lot of the team supported him on, social media,
yeah,
supported Damari Alston,
yeah.
and so it gives the appearance at the bare minimum, that Hugh Freeze has lost the locker room, which, I don't know how true that is, but I think two things can be true at the same time. I think, they love Damari because Damari's a good guy and he's waited and he's been patient and he's paid his dues and he did earn being a captain. And now he's requesting something that's in his best interest and denied, which again, I get both sides of it. And then of course, Auburn has to keep looking forward to the rest of the season. They got another. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that firing Hugh Freeze immediately solves the problem, but it does seem like Hugh is not in a position, at least with the team that he's built to win against the big boys, which is sickening. It's so heartbreaking because we all thought that year three of Hugh Freeze would be a better start than it has been. So
Well,
Yeah.
all you got to do is go beat
yeah,
Alabama in the Iron Bowl, and then Auburn's
yeah, and
beat
that
beat Georgia, who
seems.
beat out.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is at Auburn, so but at that same time, the way Alabama's playing right now, there's no guarantees for anything. I mean, we gotta get through Missouri this Saturday, which is fresh
Oof.
off the Alabama loss, and they're looking for blood too. So it's just what's gonna happen. Let's see.
Yeah. And,
So,
and that Alabama Missouri game was um, quite uh, quite a nail biter for the Chris Murphys of the world.
but I mean,
Um,
Missouri started off really well. It looked like
Yeah.
they might have it, but nope.
yeah, I mean it was back and forth, and Alabama pulled away a little at the end, and Missouri got a late touchdown
Yeah.
to pull it within field goal. But Chris, take us through a little bit the highs and lows of the season, but how you were feeling during that game on Saturday.
Quickly, highs and lows of the season. I mean, it's been kind of one of those weird things where when we first lost to FSU so early, it was like the first big headline. It's like Alabama goes down, and then there was like a week, 2 weeks before we really played anybody of note again. And so then it's just like you just hear that reverberating for weeks, and then all of the ideas of again, Alabama fans lose one game and they start calling for coaches' heads and to bench starters and all that kind of stuff. Which I was hoping that would be a little putting the cart before the horse, and I guess it does seem like that because things seem to have been righted. But it with as many things as Alabama seems to be currently doing right, it still feels like we get to the end of a game biting our nails off again, wondering if this is just going to be every game. And we're just going to keep it within, one score and cross our fingers that something happens or that, we put together some miraculous throw down the field. And that doesn't seem sustainable, but I would rather have them in the win column and they going our way. Because, I mean, Jared, what you were saying a minute ago about Auburn, it seems like that they handled the teams that they were definitely supposed to handle and kept other teams closer if it wasn't for weird officiating. And I even heard Cole Kublik talking recently, who is a former Auburn lineman, saying that, it shouldn't be, that old cliche thing about like, it shouldn't be up to the refs. Like we should have it in hand if we're going to prove that
Which
we're
I
winning
agree
or
with.
whatever.
Yeah.
But still, it's heartbreaking to see those, and especially the last three teams. You guys have all played ranked teams that you've lost to, so it's frustrating. But I guess uh, this is what we do in the SEC now.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to think that now or in the future we're going to have one team come through and completely dominate and go through undefeated just because of how much that all of these changes that have happened to college football recently have made some teams more even than others, and some of those blue bloods or some of those old school teams that just reload and keep winning championships don't have that ability as much anymore because players want to play, baby.
Yeah, like college basketball, you can go and get one or two pieces and make a deep run. Now with the transfer portal and the enticing NIL, because some teams only need one or two players, and
Yeah,
if they can get the money for those one or two players, they can make a splash in their conference and then try to make it into the playoffs. It's really interesting how all that's played out. It does things like have Washington State hanging in there with Ole Miss. I did not expect that to happen. Ole Miss to win by 3 at home against at the time 3-2 Washington State. Um, I I don't know what to think there, other than Ole Miss may have been overlooking Washington State a little bit. Um, and A&M put the hurting on Florida in the second half. Florida, kind of like Auburn, came out strong and just couldn't sustain. Um, but I think a lot of us were kind of wondering how long Florida could sustain the the success and um, a hangover like they may have been experiencing from um, winning against Texas.
yeah. I tell you though,
So
they
I have a question for the group. Go ahead.
yeah. No, no,
Uh,
go for it, buddy.
So, at what point would Florida potentially part ways with Billy Napier based on, I mean, because we know Florida fans aren't going to put up with this. So, what do you guys, what do you have an opinion, or what is your opinion on that?
I mean I don't know how Florida sticks with him um, too much longer. You've got home versus Mississippi State, but then you've got Georgia, and then you've got Kentucky at Kentucky. Then you go to Ole Miss, home against Tennessee, and I don't know what to think of Florida State. So you could easily go win, loss, loss, maybe a loss against Florida. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. But um, I mean, I think even if you get to a bowl, that's just getting to a bowl is not acceptable by Florida terms.
No, not at
Um,
all.
and so I remember earlier in the season hearing people much smarter than I am saying Florida would have to run the table to save Billy Napier's job. And even then, losing some of these games that you should not lose, like against South Florida, um, I, I don't know. I don't see him at Florida after this season.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
think with the idea of just a week or two ago, before the Texas uh, win for Florida, it just already seemed like it was kind of in the bag. Like we're waiting for the right time to get rid of him. But now you've got a couple of other famous coaches that are now uh, off from their teams, whether it be Penn State or I guess it wasn't a famous situation, but the whole situation over in UCLA happening too. Like the coaching carousel dominoes are already starting to fall. So it's like Florida. Where do you put yourself in that position if you're going to go after one of the top guys? And even if that is true, who is that?
Yeah.
Is
Hmm.
it a new is it like some assistant coach that's rocketing up everybody's list of people to hire, or do you go with one of these guys? I don't know. It's that's a weird place to be in when it comes to hiring coaches because I used to. I mean, I think we've all had similar conversations of never hearing about coaches being fired in the middle of the season. Um, but now it's just like, well, if we don't, though, somebody's going to go get our next national championship winning coach if we don't go ahead and let all the dominoes fall in our camp. So
Yeah.
I would imagine sooner than later. But then you pop out a win against Texas, and then maybe in a couple weeks you have another surprising win against some team like Kentucky uh, or like a pull off of Georgia kind of situation. It is weird how everybody seems to think they need to move on from Billy Napier, but in the this season and last season too, he does just enough to like let's give him a shot kind of thing. So
Yeah. I'm not sure that'll be true this year, but we'll see. So
yeah, yeah. When you saw them in person, did they look like a kind of team that could, like, with an attitude adjustment or a good uh, up talk from the coaches, get back on track?
I saw a team that is talented, but I think the fan base, I think Billy Napier's lost the fan base for
Yeah,
sure.
and
And
that's death knell.
I really I don't know that there's an opportunity for him to, even with winning out, that they would not want to make a change just because
Yeah,
there's so much that's happened. But that said, stranger things, you never can fully predict.
it's definitely true.
If I was Wisconsin, I would have probably fired my coach by now, and that
Yeah.
hasn't happened. So you never know.
Yeah.
If I figured Fickle would get the axe this weekend, he didn't. So
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, other another surprising score: Texas beating Oklahoma. Um,
yeah,
23-6. I did not see that happening. Um,
yeah, Oklahoma's way better than that. I'm shocked that but I know their QB got hurt again.
yeah.
I'm sure that didn't help, but Oklahoma is usually stacked at positions, so I'm surprised they didn't have a backup that could come in and produce, something.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Texas is fresh off the Florida loss, so they're, looking to rebound. But yeah, I totally picked Oklahoma in that one. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me
I
too.
I wouldn't have been surprised if that score was reversed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I expected something more like that, even with a hurt Mateer.
Mhm.
Um, we've already talked about some of these other games. LSU beating South Carolina. I feel bad for South Carolina, especially watching any given Saturday. Like I really liked Shane Beamer before that. I love him after watching that and would love to see his team do well. Kind of a dark horse in the SEC. I would have loved to see them do kind of what Tennessee did last year, be the third best team in the SEC and make it into the playoffs, um, and see what happens. Um, but LSU getting the win at home, um, and then Tennessee, Arkansas tied at halftime. Um, I was I was a little bit worried because Arkansas and their mobile quarterback just caused issues for the Vols all day. And Jared, I think you and I were texting about, whoa, how did it get so close at the end? Or it may have been my father-in-law who asked what in the world happened. And that mobile quarterback just, if you don't have somebody spying him, um, can cause trouble. But Tennessee hangs on for the win, and we are set for uh, the third Saturday in October. And
Man,
everybody
yeah,
knows what that means. LSU versus Vanderbilt. That is what that means.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. The classic rivalry
I
returns.
I just want to say when I was looking at the scores because I couldn't watch the Arkansas Tennessee game,
well,
I kept seeing the score. I was like, I got to text Bradley. What is happening? Like,
yeah,
how in the world is Arkansas in this?
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah,
Jared, and tell us why could you not watch that Tennessee Arkansas
well,
game?
being the solidified SEC fan that I am, I took the weekend off and went to South Bend, Indiana, to see Notre Dame play at Notre Dame. They played NC State and handled them. But I went with my cousin, who's a legitimate Notre Dame fan, and he had never been to a game and wanted to go, and so it's kind of a bucket list thing. And Really had a good time, but it makes me appreciate the SEC even more now that I've
Really?
been to a really exciting college football environment that's not the SEC.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly have a lot more uh, love for Auburn and going to SEC games because it is such a regional thing and so unique. Where at Notre Dame, it's a national brand, and you're meeting people literally that came to that game that weekend from Texas and New York and California, and like it's wild. It really
Mm.
is wild. It's like I didn't meet anybody that was local. Like everybody was, from out
Wow.
of town, and it's a tiny. I mean, the campus is beautiful, and the school's not tiny, but the town is tiny, like a lot of
Hmm.
college towns, and it's in the middle of the country and nowhere, Indiana, and um, it's unique. It was the weather was nice,
I
but yeah,
bet.
yeah, it
Well,
was fun. It was fun to do it. It's not, something I'll be doing for them every weekend, but yeah, and I had a good time. So.
well, well. I'm a fan of Kenny Wayne Shepherd, the blues guitarist, and he posted on
Ah,
Instagram that he was also at Notre Dame this last weekend doing college visits
ah.
for I guess
Well,
his oldest.
I could have
And
met him and not even realized I met him. So,
right.
yeah.
And I think my son's first favorite artist is Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Huh.
And so, speaking of my son, I took
That's
him.
good parenting, right,
uh,
Chris?
I
Yeah.
try. The reason I am wearing a Predators jersey is because I took my 6-year-old to his first sporting event,
Ah,
a Predators hockey game. And before we guys started here, um, Chris told me that his son's first sporting event was also a Nashville Predators game. It is so much
Mhm.
fun because there's a lot
well,
of action happening. Um, and it's a great place to learn your first curse word. Because Nashville is known for being uh,
a place to curse. Is that?
inhospitable
Oh,
for opposing
Collegiate
teams.
frustrations or sport frustrations.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Speaking
wearing
of the Tennessee Titans, but go ahead. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So now it's looking at, okay, what other sporting events can we get him to? Um, Earmuffs were a good thing because I think he couldn't quite understand what some of those cuss words were, but no, it was a blast. And yeah, speaking of the Titans, and speaking of firing coaches early, the Titans are looking for a new head coach.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe they'll go get James Franklin. I I don't know.
Well, that'd be
Uh,
wild, wouldn't it? That would
he,
be. Huh.
bringing
Comes back
James
to
Franklin.
Nashville.
Yeah,
Coming back
bring
to Nashville, but going to the Titans. Yeah, that's a story. Huh.
uh crazier things have happened. Um, but what a fun weekend that must have been going to Notre Dame. Touchdown Jesus. That's one of those
Yeah,
places
yeah.
that I'd love to see. Um, and even if it's not to experience game day, just to see campus.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
who
it's
I
beautiful.
agree.
because
Beautiful campus.
who hadn't
Yep.
seen Rudy
Yeah.
and so
Well, that's why I wanted to do it, and getting to do it with my cousin was special, and yeah, everything went really good, and I'm glad I got to do it. But it does make me appreciate SEC football even more because there is just so much passion and the rivalries and the regional feel where you would meet someone who's local who comes to a game. Where Notre Dame, it's there's I'm not saying there weren't local people there, but you just the majority was you know
Wow.
out of state, out of, way far away coming in. And that was
yeah,
kind of cool, but also you're like, whoa, this is different.
yeah.
Jared, I'd love to see how much you've traveled and seen games this year. It's like every other week or even more.
That was by
You're at
design.
another game. That's great, man. Have you had a favorite so far in the halfway point of the season as far as
Well, Florida and
environment or
Texas.
atmosphere? Or okay, yeah,
Yeah, Florida and Texas was a really fun game, and then Lana and Rachel got to go with me, and yeah, so I've enjoyed that. But I will be in your neck of the woods. I'll be at the Auburn Vanderbilt game for better or for worse. So
yeah.
I'm hoping we can have this in a less virtual environment and a more. Hey, let's go have some beverages and some barbecue or Mexican or whatever we do, and yeah, I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys. So.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man.
the morning is starting early at Pancake Pantry.
There you go.
um,
Pancake
because
pantry.
because everybody's got to stand in line for pancakes. Um,
I've
and
had a
it's
breakfast with Jared Easley at Pancake Pantry. That's a good place to
Did
meet
we go to
Midtown.
Pancake Pantry? I don't
We
remember.
did. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been about 10 plus years, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I feel like Celine Dion. It's all coming back to me now, right? So, terrible reference there. Forgive me. So,
oh, well, let's look ahead to the third Saturday in October. Because
mm,
we have some great matchups. LSU travels to Nashville. Two 5-1 teams squaring off. Two top 20 teams squaring off. Um, this is interesting. I've not seen this often before. The lowest ticket price for a Vanderbilt game, $142.
wow.
dang.
Vanderbilt
That
moving on up.
moving
Really
on up.
are.
South
Huh.
Carolina goes to Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Oklahoma goes to South Carolina. Um, I'm interested to see how.
Okay.
Wow, I'm getting my teams mixed
Well,
up. Go ahead.
South Carolina's at home, and Oklahoma's without a QB. Could we see a Gamecock upset here?
That is what I'm hoping for. And you can go see it for $68. I feel good about South
That's a good
Carolina.
price point for
Mhm.
that game, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel good about South Carolina and what they can do against a traveling Oklahoma team coming off
Yeah,
a bad
seemingly
a bad
down.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Do we know if Mateer is a no go or if he
No,
has a
he's a
chance to
no-go.
play?
No, he's
Okay.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, then A&M travels to Arkansas. Uh,
Hmm.
Interested to see what Arkansas does to bounce back, and if their quarterback can give A&M fits, because Arkansas has been in some close games, and their quarterback just being able to run and being as big as he is causes trouble.
While I do believe Texas A&M is beatable, I don't think uh they A&M is really good. They're better than people
Hmm.
want to give them so I don't think A&M loses that game. I really don't. I think A&M's they're on a crash course with somebody better. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean that A&M 6-0, 3-0 in the SEC, and ranked fourth currently, and I don't think any of that is
What a
unmerited.
job by Mike Elko. That's impressive. Uh
Yeah.
Agreed.
yeah.
But
Um,
somehow, even with all of that, it still seems like they're flying a little bit under the radar, as
Yeah.
far as people giving them respect and showing them as the number four team. But I think you're right. I almost look at the spread here, which is currently sitting at 7.5 for Texas A&M, and I would have thought that was a little low if not for the fact that they are in Arkansas. And I guess you have that big question mark when
Well,
you don't have a head coach. Is like, will my team show up and play with their hair on fire, or are they just going to call it for the rest of the season, sort
Well,
of
if they
thing?
play
So
like they did at Tennessee, maybe they have a shot. But if they
yeah,
play like they did against Notre Dame at home, yeah, we know A&M will win that. So
yeah, yeah.
well, and A&M flying under the radar is just a testament to
how
they
good the
are
SEC is.
well,
Mm,
and how much of a little brother role they are given to Texas, because even Texas falling out of favor um, still gets talked about way more than A&M
it's true.
does.
Yeah,
And in some ways, in the state of Texas, A&M could go win a national championship this year, and people are still going to be talking about Arch Manning and the Longhorns more than A&M. And
that's true.
That is
it's
true. Yeah,
it
it's messed
is
up.
and maybe I'm biased because there are so many Auburn fans in Nashville, but I don't I don't see the same level of big brother, little brother, even though I know it feels that way, especially to Auburn fans. Um,
No,
I, I,
Auburn's the little brother for sure.
yeah,
As
I
much
don't
as I don't like it.
I don't
Yeah.
see the same level. And Grant, again, maybe that's me because I'm surrounded by Auburn fans in Nashville. Uh, but A&M, they can do everything right, and still they play second fiddle to that awful burnt orange.
They'll play each other in Austin this year, so that'll be a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Ooh,
that one. Um,
yeah,
I on the other side of the conference, Ole Miss travels to Georgia. Di-
that's gonna be fun.
Dude, we got Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia and Ole Miss. Those are
That
massive. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
that's gonna be a fun game.
yeah. Ole Miss coming off a close win, um, and Georgia coming off a, a win as well.
We haven't
What's it,
really seen Ole Miss on the road um, against a good opponent, so this is going to be a test for them.
it's going to be a test to see who can clap the loudest. Um, see if they can actually make noise calling timeout. But I, I, this is the ABC game of the week. I'm really excited about that one
What's the
to
ticket
see.
price on that?
200 and change,
Okay, only?
206.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
yeah,
we've seen worse.
we
Um,
have.
Mississippi State goes to Florida. Does Mississippi State get their first SEC win?
Dude, they could
Yeah.
very easily. Yeah, don't
Um,
don't count them out.
I, I really like this Mississippi State team, and I think they're just waiting for a moment. I hate seeing teams going over in the SEC, but as
Yeah.
long as
Ooh,
they don't beat my balls.
I was gonna say, hey, there's your answer right there from half an hour ago or so, Jared, when you were saying when does Florida get rid of Napier? If they lose
Oh,
this week to Mississippi
yeah.
State, I could see them pulling the
Oh,
plug on him.
absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. You're
Yeah,
dead on, Chris. If that happens, that fan base will explode, and I
yeah,
don't think you can do anything about it.
yeah.
So,
It's like you got to look for that right little time where uh, the dominoes fall like you need them to, or whatever. And I think that losing to Mississippi State, who's on the bottom end of the SEC this year, or historically, or reputation wise, whatever it may be, and people's heads are on the actual the game that you watch. They often put Mississippi State down there, so I think that'd be a one of those like you can't let them skirt by losing to Mississippi State. And
hey, that Mississippi State team took Tennessee to overtime, so
yeah,
they're not a cupcake. They are a good team, and
yeah,
yeah.
don't let them fool you. And you're right, Bradley. You if Florida loses, man, that's going to be. I mean, imagine if your team is losing like Florida, and then you lose to Mississippi State. What I mean, Tennessee and Alabama fans would freak out too. So
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely.
Because so much of it is about perception. Like even if Mississippi State is not as bad as people assume, it's
they
kind of
don't
like the
care.
Vandy thing. It was like
Yeah.
this whole season they're trying to be like, no, you remember last year and now this year we keep adding to it. And it's like, well, you got the reputation of being Vandy for the previous 75 years on top of that, so it's
Well,
harder to get through people's heads. But
let's see Vandy handle LSU. I'd love to see that.
Oh
Yeah, there are
yeah,
a lot of good games this weekend. This is
they're
crazy.
favored right now. I think that they're what is a 2.5 point on
Go.
for Vandy.
Well, Diego,
yep.
he's already gonna have a statue, but yeah,
That's true.
he wins against LSU. Yeah,
He is
yeah,
Vanderbilt's Tebow. Um,
yeah. Yeah, you might see another goalpost go into Cumberland if Vandy beats LSU. So
Bring it on. I love it. Texas goes to Kentucky. Interested to see. Uh,
I'm picking Kentucky in that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting way. I would
oh,
say flush money down the toilet, but
Yeah, yeah.
uh, then we
What's the
get
ticket price on that, Bradley?
oh,
$67.
Reasonable. That's less
there we
than the
go.
South Carolina game. So
Okay, so according to ESPN's website, you can go to the third Saturday in October in Tuscaloosa for $57.
what? Okay,
Dang,
I don't know. That's
how the
tempting.
mighty have fallen.
Uh, right? Number 11 Tennessee traveling to number 6
Dang.
Alabama, which
And you can get a $57 ticket to that. That's worth it. Do it.
You add in a hot dog, you're less than $70, and you've had a
Yeah, you've had
entertainment
a
and food.
yeah.
right?
That's isn't
Uh,
that's painful that would be a good Saturday, but it is.
right? And the spread is Alabama by 8.5. I'm really interested to see how Tennessee travels um, for this because Alabama 3-0 in the SEC, and if Tennessee's able to get a win, um, that's just a leg up in the SEC
Yeah.
standings.
When's
But
the last time Tennessee won in Tuscaloosa? I don't know. It's been a while, it
Yeah, it's
seems like.
been a
So,
been a minute.
yeah.
I don't think it's been since Saban was there. I
Yeah,
think it was before
But
that, which
yeah.
were Alabama's dark days.
Yeah.
Um, but
I remember those.
Alabama's putting a lot of things together. Um, I also think the Vols are putting things together on offense with Joey Aguilar, and I think that's just going to keep getting better. Um, but there's a true test for both teams this week, and uh, yes, it will probably sound like a Nashville Predators hockey game uh, downstairs as I'm
Do not
watching this
bring
game.
your young children to that
Yeah,
game.
Yeah, a few
So,
yeah,
yeah.
curse words flying around that room.
earmuffs. And then finally, Missouri goes to Auburn, Battle of the Tigers. Um, two of the three Tigers of the SEC going at it on the plains. Um, Mizzou, a 1.5 point favorite on the road. Uh,
Hmm.
come on, Auburn, prove some people wrong.
Yeah, certainly I'm rooting for that, but man, that is it feels like as an Auburn fan in this moment, it feels like we're never going to win again. So it's
And like I said, I don't want to see anybody go over in the SEC. Really,
yeah.
the only ones that I make exceptions for are I don't mind if Kentucky goes over.
Do they get rid of Stoops if they go over? Seriously, like at what point does the love affair with Stoops finally end?
Yeah, at that point, I think it's like, hey, thank you for getting us to a respectable place, but we can't go winless in the conference. Um, I mean, I think Kentucky's lowest standard does need to be at this point a bowl game every year. I think they need to be 6-6 at least every year, um,
Yeah, 'cause
which is
you're not seeing this at Louisville.
right.
So
And that's more than you can say for probably Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Um, those are probably the ones where 6-6 you hope for but don't expect every
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Um, but Kentucky really should under Stoops has raised the bar, and he has done a whole lot. We are seeing a lot of coaching turnover because it is hard to figure out transfer portal and NIL. It is really, really hard to do. And a few teams are starting to figure it out. A lot of teams still don't know what to do. I don't know what to do unless you've
well,
just got somebody with a big pocketbook. And
that
even
yeah,
then it's really tough. Just
that makes me
Well, Bradley,
appreciate
yeah,
teams like Georgia Tech even more because Georgia Tech is kicking booty, and
yeah.
I don't pretend they figured all that out, but they just have a really good team, and
seem
that
gritty as
yeah
well as like putting together
how
some
are
of
you
that
winning at
NILs.
Georgia Tech like that, and other
Mm.
schools can't. It's
Yeah,
And,
crazy.
and I think part of it is finding the right people. And
Yeah.
this is something that Heupel's talked about since he got there is he will go get really good players, but he's also not going for players just because they've got a top ranking. He's going to go get players who fit his system. He's going to get a certain type of running back. He's going to go get really good wide receivers, and he's going to go get really good quarterbacks. But the linemen that he needs um,
Mm.
can't be the the big bruising linemen that you'll find in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Those Big Ten linemen are not what Heupel wants. He needs guys who are big and strong, but can also get down the field because as soon as they get a first
Mobile.
down, you got to sprint 30 yards to snap that ball
Yep.
within 5 or 10 seconds of the ball being set. Um, it's so I think that's what Georgia Tech has done. They've gone and found their players,
Hmm.
and when you find players that fit your scheme, you're going to win some ball games.
Yeah. I think if I'm any of these schools looking for a coach, I would consider Georgia Tech's coach if he's willing to leave because I mean what he's doing there is that's exactly what you want. So
Yeah.
Alex Golish at South Florida.
yeah,
We,
he's another Jim.
Yeah.
Anybody that gets him, I think is going to do well.
he
So
he was offensive coordinator at Tennessee. He knows how to recruit the SEC. He's
mhm.
still in the SEC footprint, scouting that talent. So I could see him um, getting one of these open SEC jobs at year's end
Absolutely. Yeah.
because I there may be more. Um,
Yeah, he'll get. I'm sure his agents on the phone. You know, they're people are calling him. So
yeah,
Jared, with your time down in South Florida, whether it be USF or UCF, there's a lot of it's like a breeding ground for next level coaches down there in those schools.
oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely, and don't totally sleep on schools like FAU either, because Florida Atlantic had Lane Kiffin, and now they've
Lane
got
Kiffin, yeah,
the guy that was the offensive coordinator from Texas Tech, and he's kind of rebuilding FAU. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see that. I'm kind of, for the Big 12 side of me, and I'm rooting for Scott Frost and UCF.
yeah,
Although this is a total rebuild year, so the expectations are not high, but yeah, I love to see it. I love to
yeah,
see USF, who when they're not playing an SEC school, I love to see them you know strap it on. I loved how they just dominated North Texas, who is a good team, a good
hmm,
G5 team. So yeah, it's exciting. It's really cool to see good football, and it's nice that Florida is a place where they have that. So
yeah, yeah. I wonder
yeah.
if your local sports chatter talk about that a lot because it does seem like that it's a great place to either rebuild a career or to show people that you can shine and have a team that maybe didn't have a lot of preseason expectations, but by the time middle of the season, like this time of the year, you're like, wow, look at this team coming up.
yeah, but
Again, they're
on
doing
the
it
flip
in the middle of South Florida. Yeah.
on the flip side of that, though, I mean, you can epically fail too. And that I'm trying to think of the former coach from Texas, what his name is, but he came to FAU and he was there maybe a year and a half, and then got rid of him. I cannot think of his name now. I used to coach at Houston, and then he coached at Texas. You probably know who I'm talking about, but I cannot think of his name right off the top of my head. But
Yeah. Why am I
I'm
hadn't
blanking.
until you
It's okay.
asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but that guy, he came here and didn't work out. They got rid of him and ASAP. And then
Gotcha.
I look at a school. This isn't Florida, but UAB, for example, they fired Trent Dilfer yesterday, and it's like, okay, um, UAB, they've won in the past. Who would a UAB potentially get to replace Dilfer? And I was reading some articles, and one suggested West Virginia's coach, who coached at Troy. What's that guy's name? Neil. Now my mind's blanking.
No, it's not Bill
Um,
Clark, is it?
no, Bill Clark
No.
was his name's in there in that list. If he's ready to coach again, it seemed like UAB would be a good landing spot because he won there. But
Yeah.
is it Neil? Not Neil Young. That's the artist. Neil. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy that was just at West Virginia,
Yeah.
that prior was at Troy. They're saying he's a potential guy for the UAB job, and I thought, oh, that could be a good landing spot for him. So it'd be interesting to see what UAB does. I heard Ed Orgeron's name for UAB too. Wouldn't that be funny?
Wow.
Yeah,
What was
former
it? Neil Brown?
Neil Brown. That's it, Neil Brown. Yeah. Neil Brown to UAB. I thought, well, that'd be really interesting. That could work. And then I don't know about Ed Orgeron, but maybe that could work.
Yeah, I didn't know he was still in the market to be a coach. That'd
Yeah, I
be
guess he's tired of sitting at home. I guess he wants to
he's a
get
fun
back in it.
personality to hang out with.
Yeah,
So I can
Oh,
see that.
oh yeah, and he can't be a TV or radio personality because you can't understand what he's saying.
that's so true.
So,
Yeah, he's losing money. He's ready to coach again. So,
yeah, yeah. Oh well, October is a fun month for football, as evidenced by the second and now the third week of October. Um, Gentlemen, I'm glad we could get the band back together. Thank you for joining.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Chris,
Yeah,
I'm
I
I'm
had to
glad your
wear the white
schedule
shirt
allowed.
because, oh man, I appreciate it. I wanted to be as completely neutral as possible. You
It's,
know
it's,
who I'm
it's
going
a
to be cheering
whiteout at the
for.
Murphy house. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
there is nothing neutral about this show. So uh, thank you for joining us. And uh, listeners, you can join us too. You can find us online, third Saturday in October.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo at TSIO Pod, and buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. It it's a special time of year. But I feel like third Saturday in October leads into November, and the SEC races are coming down to the wire. Thanksgiving always has fantastic rivalries, um, one of which the two of y'all know very, very well.
Yeah, I'm sweating about that one already too. Yeah.
And then we're into bowl season, so it's kind of like it's fun up until this point, and now everything really gets serious in October. So
well, I'm hoping it'll become fun for me because it hasn't been fun so far. So let the serious be fun is what I'm
yeah,
hoping.
yeah.
So
Well, I again, thank you, Chris, for joining Jared and I. Great to have you back.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I I'm gonna say heroes come in all sizes and roll balls. Jared,
please beat Mizzou.
oh,
Jared, I'll be pulling for your Tigers, not the other Tigers this
Yes,
weekend. But
yes.
Bradley, I will not be cheering for your Vols this weekend since I'm playing my Tide.
Murphy
So
will be cheering for the LSU Tigers. He just went on the record to say that. So
right, yeah.
yeah.
I'm a
absolutely.
deep LSU fan.
All right. Well, Chris, send us off.
Oh, guys, do we say roll Vols? Do we say roll war Vols? Like there's so many allegiances that we have here, not even including our wives' teams and possible future children going to SEC schools. So I'll say roll war Vols.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. That
Okay.
that the way Chris Murphy,
I
the
thought he was going to
ultimate.
throw in like "Go Gamecocks" or something.
It is Cocktober.
No,
I'm here
no.
for it in October.
Chris Murphy always bringing people together. Well, thank you,
Yes.
gentlemen.
Bless you.
Tailgate, man cave, living room, pregame, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chipping.